This is the March BARRA Jack box, otherwise known as Barramundi Jack, Mangrove Jack. Okay, where am I going to start with this one? Let's start off with the one thing that looks different to everything else, I guess, the Ikuda shrimp. This is the Ikuda shrimp. Now, straight out of the packet, it does have a weedless hook. So instantly, this is the lure you use when you're going to be fishing heavy structure. You can skip it up or cast it up under your overhanging mangroves, let it sink down in between rocks in holes. It doesn't matter because 9 times out of 10, you'll probably get this back with that weedless hook. So it's great for fishing that sort of thing. 2 ways you can fish it: either let it sink down and start hopping it around, or vary your retrieve rate. So like you can do a fast rate into a slow one to let it sort of sink down, and speed up and slow down with your retrieve. The way I like to fish it mainly for me is a cast out, let it sink down, and just hopping it along the bottom. Hop, hop, and then into a slow roll, sort of in the last half of the cast. Now, if that ain't doing it for you, then you're gonna move over to your Berkeley shimmer shads. This is the big paddle tail version of the shimmer shad, and these are fantastic. You work them just like any other vibe, but you do get a little bit more of a big wide kick with the big paddle tail on the back of these. So cast out, let it sink down, and I'll just do a slow to medium wind back out of the structural waters that I'm fishing, or you can work these vertically if you find some schooled up fish beneath you. Just a great little all-rounder with vibes, just like they always are. And then for your big barra or your very ferocious jack that just love to chomp some big mullet in half, then you're going to be looking at your Samaki boom bait. So these are a big long paddle tail bait, and they come with 1 jig head in the packet ready for you to go. Therefore, you've got a spare plastic when your first plastic gets torn to shreds from that angry jack, or if that barra just wanted to really kill it. Now, the way you're gonna fish this is probably similar or halfway between the shimmer shad and the live shrimp. I'm just going to cast out, let it sink down medium or to about the depth that the fish are holding, and just do probably a medium wind speed. Probably not too slow because you don't want to sink too deep unless the fish are sitting close to the bottom. But normally if these fish are sitting suspended in amongst structure or something, you're just going to do a medium retrieve back out again. Now, if you don't want to do a medium retrieve or fish that sort of style, or the fish aren't really hitting that sort of thing, that's when you're probably going to jump over to one of the next 2 lures. So the first one is the Samaki Reddick jerkbait in the slow float 90. These come pre-rigged with heavy BKK hooks on them, so they're good to go right out of the packet. Now, this is a shallow diving hard body, long slender profile, so I'm going to get twitchy and add a lot of pauses in with this. So if I'm fishing natural structure, or even natural structure like trees and stuff in a dam, so dam or estuary or river, then you can pretty much do the same sort of thing. You're gonna cast it out into your structure, and then you're gonna do a couple rips down just to get this diving down, and then pause it. That slow float is just gonna look like this. It's a little bait fish that has a wounded swim bladder. So you can twitch again, pause, let it slow float. Now it is a pretty slow float, which is great because it's kind of like a little bit more than a suspending lure. So you really are mimicking that wounded bait fish. And yeah, keep twitching, pausing until you get it back to your feet. Now, if you want something that you're gonna work more on a constant roll, then we have the Baramba Lures Baby Mullet. So this thing here is essentially a little swim bait that mimics a little mullet. It comes with BKK hooks straight out of the packet as well, and some spare components included in the package, which is kind of neat because with the extra little components in this box, you can actually screw and unscrew a little weight system underneath the chin. So you've got a lead one if you want this to sink down a little bit deeper and swim under the water a bit deeper down. So you can screw that lead weight underneath the chin there, dropping it down, or you can swap that one out for a little plastic one, making it a shallower lure. So it's essentially a super versatile swim bait Australian design as well by Barramba Lures. So the way you fish this obviously is going to depend on the depth that you want to fish it at. So first work out that, whether you want to go the metal one or the plastic one. I'm probably going to go the metal, get it down deeper. You want this big profile to be seen. Unless you're fishing early morning, late afternoon, where you can go for a shallow swimming mullet and really mimic those mullet getting around your estuaries or waterways like that. But I'm probably going to go the heavier one, just so I've got more control over the depth that it's going to be fishing. And that's it for the BARRA JACKS box this month. Super awesome mix of hard bodies, plastic, shrimp, fish, and a new swim bait. If you want to check the BARRA JACKS box out or any of the others in the range, just head to www.tackleclub.com.au. Pick a box that's right for you. It could be this one, could be one of the many other ones. And once you've picked one, welcome to the club.